Hi there, Janet Fritz here for Galaxy Girl Creations. Welcome to my channel. Welcome to another Kit Conspiracy Day. This is the first day of week 3, and our inspiration today comes from this tile ceramic advertisement. And so that led me to taking this border strip sheet and cutting it into strips. And oddly, I know yesterday I said I wasn't sure if I was going to use that blue sky paper, but it will be the first piece that I use. It's funny how those things come together. You think you're not going to use something, and then it ends up being the first thing. But I thought it was actually really perfect for these 3 photos. It's my nephew there in the middle, my son's in the blue shirt, and then one of their friends is with them. And this is at an end of the year party that our homeschool group always did at the local water park. And so I wanted to capture that. These photos are from 2008, so they're quite old, which is perfect because these papers kind of have like they're not super distressed on every page, but they do have some distressed look to them. So it works for me. So I am cutting those into strips, and then a couple of the pieces that were like one of the 6x12s, I knew I wasn't going to use one of them because it was the dark wood grain, and it just had a saying on it. So I just cut part of it off. Like I wanted to keep the saying whole, but I didn't need the whole thing as the wood grain. So I cut a strip off of there, and then I cut a strip off of another piece that had wood grain on it because I didn't have enough of the border strips all together. And so I'm going to stack these up a little haphazardly, kind of like those tiles were, but not quite as tilted. I don't want them to lean as much. I don't know. I just didn't think it would look right. Maybe it's just my eye, but I definitely wanted them to be a little cockeyed. I did trim the ends off of them so they're not 12 inches long anymore. And I did trim a little bit off the top and the bottom of each one, wherever I could trim a little bit off to make them just a tiny bit narrower, because the full 2-inch width, they just seemed too bulky to me. And I didn't really measure to make them all exactly the same. The largest one is probably the one with the geotags because those were the biggest image on there. And so I had to keep it a little bit on the bigger side. I am inking everything up with Black Soot Distress ink, and I'm liking the way that it's looking so far. I like that the Black Soot Distress ink kind of just creates a nice border around all of those pieces, just to keep it from or to keep them all uniform in some way, and to make them pop off the paper just a bit. And so I'm thinking I still need at least one, maybe even 2 more. And so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take that chevron 4x6, and I'm going to cut it into pieces so that I can join them in the middle of my page to make another strip, basically. So you're not going to see the join because the photos are going to cover it, but I definitely felt like I needed something a little bit more. It just wasn't quite enough for me. So I'm going to be using a lot of photos from this particular day throughout the remainder of the week, using up this kit of paper. And I've found actually by doing these kits, it's actually helping me to get through some of my older photos, and I'm really enjoying that. I tend to try to work on my current photos so that I don't get I don't want to say I don't get behind. I think that behind is kind of a mythical place in scrapbooking. You're always going to be behind unless you're no longer living, at least in my opinion. As long as I'm living, there's still going to be more to scrapbook. But so I don't even worry about that. But I have all of these older photos, like these are 2008, and I don't have much in my scrapbooks between 2008 to 2014 or 15. So I am trying to get a little bit more caught up with those years. And so I go through and I print a whole year at a time. I mean, I don't print every photo. I just pick the ones I want. And then I have them in a bin of photos here, and I pull from those as often as I can. But I have been finding that oftentimes, when you're doing a layout with that's more about a story of something, I don't need maybe 10 photos, I just need 1 or 2, then I am not reaching for those photos as much. So by doing these kits, I am actually getting more of my older stuff done, and that's making me really happy. So I'm going to go ahead and just use my Nuvo Deluxe adhesive to adhere those down kind of loosely. And I am going to go and run those through my sewing machine. I was going to say printer. That's not right. My sewing machine. So they have been sewn on now. There's a white border all the way around the layout, and then white stitching all the way down the center of each one of those strips. I'm not really bending them up so that they kind of have a lot of texture or anything on this particular page. I did that a couple of days ago on a prior layout, but I'm not doing that today. I'm kind of leaving them nice and flat to the page. And I totally intentionally do not want my photos to be perfectly straight up and down. They are a little bit wonky. Maybe not as wonky as they probably could have been, but this is what I'm going with. I did pull out these stickers. They are a wood grain thicker. And I am using that for my title. My title is Raging Waters. And I'm just going to put 2008 for the year. And I'm not really sure of the placement of the 2008 at first. So you're going to see me move that around just a bit, which is totally fine. I mean, I'm not really like sticking them down hard. And these are the foam thickers. They're pretty easy to pop up. And as you know, thickers don't stick great anyway. So until they put a little glue behind them, I'm not totally worried about it. So I'm going to move those around a little bit. I do like them better on the green than over on the heart side of that same level of paper that the title is on. And then I went to my 3x4 cards. And, I was thinking those weren't 3x4 for some reason. 3x4 cards, and I am fussy cutting out this camera. Now, I don't have a lot of embellishments from this kit, which is fine. We didn't include embellishments in our kits on purpose because that would take a lot of coordination anyway. So we are allowed to use anything we want, but I do have these sticker sheets, and we have all those 3x4 cards and 4x6 cards and 4x4 cards and the little postage stamp looking kind. And I thought, I'm going to go to those first and my sticker sheet rather than pulling from outside of my kit, because there are so many things available in this kit. I wanted to use up as much as I could. So I thought that camera worked well. There is a camera sticker on one of the sticker sheets, but it's smaller, and I wanted the one that was larger. So it's not a ton smaller, but it is a bit smaller. So I'm thinking the bigger one worked better. I did like that piece that says Happy Summer, that little banner piece just above the title. And eventually that is where my 2008 is going to go. It's going to go right above that little Happy Summer banner piece. I am popping the camera up onto some foam tape just to give a little added dimension. And I'm liking the way that that looks. I don't mind that it is covering a large part of the photo. There was nothing in the photo that needed to be seen anyway. And I do use quite a bit of these little things that are this is what I call the postage stamp sheet. They're larger than a postage stamp, but they're kind of like that same shape. So I do use quite a bit of these throughout the week. I'm just trying to figure out which one is the right one for this layout. I didn't feel like the yellow was the right one. It's a little bit too bright given everything else that's going on. I thought this green one would work better, so I am going to pull that one in. And then I'm just got to figure out the placement. So I am going to have it hanging down there off the side of the camera. And then the little it has a little arrow pointing to the photos, and it says "This way to fun." So I thought that was perfect for this particular layout, just because this was a really fun day. We did this several years in a row. It was always kind of like the end of the year party with our homeschool group. So all the friends are there, all the homeschool moms are there hanging out, chatting while the kids are out doing the water slides. Unless of course you had small ones, then you got to be off with them. But it was always a really fun day, so we thoroughly enjoyed it. So I'm liking the way that it's coming together so far. I am just using my scissors to cut along the dotted line of these pieces, which kind of gives it that postage stamp kind of a look, really. And I am still inking up the edges, and I'm using the geotag here. I'm going to put it up in the same cluster. I'm just going to have 2 clusters. I'm going with a diagonal from the upper right to the lower left as my kind of design element there, or for my placement of my embellishments. That little piece says Epic, and it's got some arrows again pointing towards the photo. And I am going to just use my tweezers to put a little bit of foam under it, because the camera's on foam and so is the green piece. I do need to make sure that that is well supported. And same with the geotag. So I'm liking the way this is coming together. I think I really liked that background piece because there's quite a bit of orange in the photos and it works really well with the orange. So I think that was kind of one thing that was prompting me to pull out that sheet. I do use these hearts over underneath the title. Those are also popped up onto foam, and I'm going to finish it off with some white linen dilutions spray. So go and check out what MK has done for today. I can't wait to see what her layout looks like. Thank you so much for watching. If you have questions or comments, definitely leave those down below. I'll get back to you as quickly as I can. If you don't mind hitting the thumbs up, I would appreciate that as well. I will be back again tomorrow. We have Stretch the Sketch, and I am going to use this same Kit Conspiracy kit for Stretch the Sketch, so you get a bonus layout there. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a great day. Bye-bye.